Where are you from? We ask this question when we first meet each other. It's a simple question, but for me, it's one that always reminds me how I don't have one specific place I can call home. What qualifies as a home anyways? Is it where we were born or where we spent the most time? Is it the place where all of our stuff is? The place where we know the most people, the language, and culture? I fall into the category of 1.5 generation of Korean Americans. Another way of saying that, I immigrated to the States in my early teens. I look 100% Korean, speak the language fluently, know the food, the customs, but there is, and always will be, this invisible gap between me and my Korean identity. My parents tried their best to bring us back to Korea every summer so that we wouldn't forget where we came from. But each trip, I remember feeling more and more disconnected. My clothes, taste in music, and other teenage interests evolved so differently from my cousins back home. And the worst was going shopping and struggling to find clothes in my size and makeup that matched my darker skin color. As you can imagine, I felt like a complete alien in my own country. But it's not like I fit in anywhere else. I moved around so much that being an outcast became a norm. I was the girl with the black hair, girl with a strange accent, the girl who is not from here. I was young enough to adapt, and eventually I changed the way that I talked. I even tried to look like everyone else around me. But no matter what I did, I couldn't help feeling like an outsider. In Korea, I was a foreigner, and everywhere else, an immigrant. And I didn't know how to exist between these two completely different worlds. It's been 10 long years since my last visit to Korea, but recently I had to fly there on short notice. I wish it was for better circumstances, but sometimes life creates a reason for us. The coolest part was seeing my family, of course. My aunts, uncles, and cousins that I haven't seen for over a decade. I hugged them so tightly when we said our goodbyes because I wasn't sure when I was going to see them again. For the rest of the time, we went sightseeing, ate amazing street food, and went to the sauna almost every day, as you do when you're in Korea. Everything felt so familiar, even after so much time had passed. I even adjusted to the time zone right away, and I hit the ground running like I've always lived there. Maybe it was because I was surrounded by people who looked similar to me, or because I was able to understand and navigate in my native language. But I didn't feel like I was visiting. It felt more like I was returning home after a long journey, and I felt a sense of comfort that I haven't felt in years. This trip reminded me that Korea will always be a part of who I am. It's my roots, and no matter how far I go or how big the gap gets, I can never outgrow it. But I realize that where I'm from doesn't tell the full story of who I am either. I have this whole other side of me that keeps evolving, being shaped by other places I've lived, people I've met, and things I've done and seen, which equally factor into my identity. Sure, I don't fit into either places perfectly, but maybe that's okay. Maybe nobody does. All my life, I was fixated on having one place to call home, that I was blinded to the fact that I created many different homes along the way. I speak multiple languages, have people in my life who actually love me for who I am, and I've gotten to truly know myself beyond the influence of cultural and societal norms. I realize that the only way to go through life being my authentic self is not trying to blend in, but to embrace this uniqueness in me. And if that makes me an outsider, then so be it. Because I wouldn't want to change who I am or trade in my memories for anything in the world. So, where am I from? Where am I really from? I still don't know, but I don't know if it matters all that much. All I know is that when I flew back to Portugal and saw my husband and my dogs at the airport, I had that same feeling of comfort and love that I felt in Korea. And I couldn't have felt more at home. We all have to be outsiders at some point in our lives, whether we are the new person at work, at school, or we look different from everyone else. Maybe we're a foreigner, an outcast, or just feel like we don't belong. It's difficult, and it's an uncomfortable situation to be in, but without experiencing it, I don't think we would truly appreciate what it feels like to belong.